do some more painting this weekend. I'm probably going to finish up that octopus that I left us with last time. It's spring, so I feel like my green thumb is like itching to come out. I also have some herbs that are growing right now. Yeah, it's Friday, sitting in the sun on the carpet. Hey y'all, this weekend I started a sourdough starter. I know I am late to the game, but I got this simple sustainability, a modern take on self-reliant living National Geographic about a month ago, and I was flipping through it, and the sourdough starter was one of the easier things to do. So went to the grocery store and got the few ingredients, and now I can make my own bread. I'm very excited that I can control the sugar content in my bread, because there is an awful lot of sugar in an awful lot of bread. So, look forward to it. I also returned to my octopus and got a couple new tools. Got 2 new brushes. It was a BOGO situation, and got some white gouache. The gouache is good for highlighting watercolors when you're done with them. You really should, as I am learning about watercolor, leave space for, be, preemptive about the sort of highlighting that you're going to do. You want to think about what you're going to highlight before you even start the composition, and so I did not do that because it's my first one, so we are living and learning. Okay, that tentacle that I'm working on is also another lesson that I learned the hard way. I think I showed you in the last video that I did the suckers kind of a red color, and lo and behold, when you paint over something you've done in a watercolor, especially if they're kind of these dense, dry little suckery dots, it makes the watercolor spread. So those dots started spreading, and it was just chaos. So then I tried to sort of wipe it off, and then the paper started coming up with it, and so gotta think about your composition. You want to work back to front, light to dark. So yeah, but here I am adding some shadows to the bottom of these sweet little tentacles, and I will just leave you here for a bit to enjoy the music, and I'll check back in later. It's me again. Hello. So I'm trying to approach watercolor with an intentional posture of inquiry and self-forgiveness, and an understanding that engaging in an art form is a process, and you cannot approach learning an art form with the end of perfection in mind, particularly right away. And so every painting that I do or practice that I do is an opportunity to learn. And this tentacle right here is a perfect example of that. Doing an octopus was going to yield lessons, and this is one of those lessons, and I'm grateful for it. So I started something new for fun. I was sent a video where the artist's process was to first get a paintbrush and well it up with water and dip droplets onto the canvas, and then take another paintbrush and dip that paintbrush in paint and not a lot of water, and then you use that paintbrush to infuse the color into the drops that have already been dropped on the canvas. And it creates an kind of a groovy effect where the colors kind of swirl around and it feels very natural. But once the droplets dry, they dry in place, and so it starts to look like when rain falls and there's a mineral residue or something like that, except for with this it's colorful, and so I wanted to make a rainbow out of the residue of what looks like rain droplets, which is what a rainbow actually is. And so I got to play with color and play with a new technique, and it was something that was relatively accessible for me at my novice level, and it was a lot of fun, and I really like how it turned out, and I love rainbows, and who doesn't love rainbows? Rainbows are great and amazing, and so yeah, I'll leave you and let you enjoy my rainbow bubble making process. I wanted to jump in here again, mostly because that blue is my absolute favorite color, blue. So it was nice to be partnering with her again, my old friend. Also, the upcoming dots here are going to be purple. And I did on sort of the right side of the canvas, and then eventually a little bit on the left, two different sorts of purples. I used for the lighter one that blue that I was just talking about, paired with that darker red over there on the left-hand corner. And then for the next darker purple, I used a darker blue, that blue that is above the blue that I am spreading right now, and the red. And it was interesting to see how it turned out after it dried. I thought I mixed it fairly well, both purples, but when the water droplets dried, the center of the droplet had more of a reddish tint, and the outside was purple. And it was also interesting that both purples weren't really all that distinct, even though when I'm looking at these two blues, they seem quite distinct. And so maybe it was how I was mixing it or how much blue I put in. All of that is possible. But it was interesting to me, the chemistry that went into the mixing of the red and the blue, and how it dried with the red in the center both times. So if you have ever painted and used kind of a chemistry like that to enhance or amplify or leveraged that technique in your work, I would love to see that. It's very interesting to me how the chemistry of paint can kind of create an interesting aesthetic effect. I think that's wild. So let me know below. Also, if you've not subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'd love to create a community where we go on this journey together. A lot of us during quarantine have picked up crafts or arts or things like that, and we just picked it up. It's something new. It's something that we picked up not for kind of a capitalist purpose, but for other purposes. So if you picked up an art or a craft through quarantine and you've been kind of journeying along with it for a purpose that wasn't to make more money, tell us about it below. I feel like a lot of us have done that, and I feel like that's interesting. I want to learn about that. I want to learn about your experience with that. So yeah, comment, subscribe. Would love to kind of build a community. That would be cool. Yeah, I love these colors. And it was so fun to just sort of inject the paint into the water and watch it swirl. It's fun to do. So this is what it looks like from this angle here. Just these kind of dots of swirling color. It was really cool, and it reminds me of those candy dots. Do you guys remember those? Where you'd kind of tear them up, and they always have paper on the bottom. I don't know if you guys had a technique for not eating paper when eating those dots. Oh, so later, I went to Dorothea Dix Park. It was really beautiful. I think their daffodils were out, and you can see the Raleigh skyline from the park. It's just so peaceful, and it was a nice day, and it was nice to feel the wind on your face after spending so much time indoors. There they are, there are the flowers, and there were so many dogs and babies. Oh, I wanted to ask, what is this plant? It seems like a potato-y thing. It seems like it has potato-y flowers, and it's certainly not a yam, I don't think. Let me zoom in here. You see that? But it was huge. It was much larger than a potato. So, anyway, thanks for hanging. Talk to you soon.